Texans extremely banged up. Can Davis Mills save the day? Let's hear from him. Let's hear from DeMeco. Let's hear from the new kicker. We got a lot to get into. It was an active yet inactive day at NRG.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it.
Do it right.
Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every
What a very interesting day today was. We anticipated some of the stuff that went down, but I don't even know that DeMeco Ryans and company could have anticipated this. Texans extremely banged up. Do you believe that they can win this game? Now, it should be mentioned 2 of their 3 wins have come against teams in similar situations. So maybe this is just a chance to salvage the season and get a taste of your own medicine. This video is brought to you by Sleeper. Shout out to the great people at Sleeper. It is the best sports app in the game and the most fun game that there is right now when it comes to sports and making sports more exciting. Is higher or lower. Very simple concept. They put some stats up. You say higher or lower. Your odds go up the more picks you make. And I'm going to make one right now. The Texans, brought to you by Sleeper. Also got a great deal you can get. So I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence lower than 202.5 yards. We don't know if his receivers are going to be playing. Got to think Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter are going to be ready to go. So lower than 202.5 yards. Davis Mills over 7.5 rushing yards. Davis Mills over 207.5 passing yards. Those are low numbers right there. And Christian Kirk less than 30.5 yards. We don't even know if he'll make it through the whole game with the way this thing has gone. So that gives me 7-1 odds. Put $1 on it, you get 7, 5, 35. It's a game of skill. If you've never played this game before, I have an offer for you right here. You can get a $20 entry for free. $20 entry for free. No deposit needed. All you got to do is download the Sleeper app, use it as your scoring app, everything like that. And you can also get a 100% match up to $100. Use that promo code LOCKER and you'll be in the game. Shout out to Sleeper. And that's where I went. Now, you must be hearing that and saying, well, Davis Mills must have said something good. Not really. I'm just saying maybe one scramble and some yards. And we do know for sure that Davis Mills will be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans today. Why do we know that? Because apparently the weird DeMeco Ryans paranoia about injury, it's gone away. And I got to wonder, is this like some sort of sign that maybe DeMeco and Caserio aren't as aligned as they once were? Is that my conspiracy theory? Because DeMeco's not acting like a weirdo anymore. He's not acting like a Patriots weirdo. He's acting like a normal guy. He's acting like a normal coach, like he used to before Nick Caserio got his offensive coordinator. So are we seeing like a split between DeMeco and Caserio? Maybe I'm making too much of it, but here is DeMeco Ryans doing something that really he wasn't doing before a couple weeks ago.
For where we are right now with the concussion protocol, I do not see CJ playing this week.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. You say you do not anticipate?
Yeah, CJ Stroud will be out this week.
So there you go. He will be out this week. So there you go. DeMeco not being weird. How about that? Take that, Nick Caserio. You think Nick Caserio was like throwing his egg white omelet when he heard that? You can't give him any advantages. Don't know. But Davis Mills is going to be the guy. And you could do a lot worse than Davis Mills. I will say with this news, though, the betting line did flip. And the betting line, the Texans are now an underdog. They were a 1.5-point favorite. They are now a 1.5-point underdog with the news that CJ Stroud is out. And that's not the only person who's going to be out. Kaimi Fairbairn is also out. He's been your best offensive player for a large chunk of the season. He's out. They got some guy named Matthew Wright. That's the kicker. We talked to him. We'll hear from him in a second. He's going to be kicking. So it'd be probably in the best interest of Davis Mills and company to get in the end zone. I don't know if this Wright fella is going to be ready to fill the shoes of Ka'imi Fairbairn. You damn sure can't trust him from 50 plus like you did Ka'imi Fairbairn. But in fairness, there aren't a lot of guys that you can trust from 50 plus like Ka'imi Fairbairn. So there's one. Will Anderson also on the injury report. I think he's going to play. I said last week, Dalton Schultz, I would be surprised if Will Anderson didn't play. Jalen Petrie, apparently in concussion protocol. He is, that's going to be a tough one. Titus Howard too. He's in concussion protocol. So it's a very crowded concussion protocol. I do wonder if the Jalen Petrie thing, there's like some sort of, I don't want to say advantage, but there could be some confusion caused with Jacksonville. I'll explain that in a sec. And then Nick Chubb, by the way, Nick Chubb has a hurt foot, which is kind of what I want to get to here with the Nick Chubb thing. We knew Nick Chubb. It would have been very surprising had Nick Chubb played all 17 games. He's older. He's had 2 season-ending injuries. One of them we thought would be career-threatening a couple of years ago. And now we have a situation where Nick Chubb might be out. And I know what everyone wants. Hell, I want it too. You want more Woody Marks. Woody Marks is the better running back from the Chubb-Woody duo.
Chubb and Woody.
Do you really trust Nick Caley to do that? Do you really trust Nick Caley to do that? This now pushes Dare Ogunbowale up the depth chart. Dare Ogunbowale is going to be RB2. And I got to think, the fact that Dare Ogunbowale basically had his snaps stripped from him when they went on a 2-game win streak, and then all of a sudden they just went up to where he was getting more snaps than Jalen Knoll the other day, which, by the way, this is another thing about today's show. Today's show, we got a lot to get to. I found out why Jalen Knoll's not playing. 100% know why. It's not a joke either. I know a lot of times I do this and there's kind of some shtick that follows up and there's some sort of joke. Not a joke. I know why Jalen Knoll's playing. I'll tell you why in a sec. But what happens here, seriously, with Chubb out? Because I think there's a chance that Dare Ogunbowale and Dameon Pierce significantly cut into Woody Marks snaps. Can you comfortably say, and I've already said that on SNL, if he does not play over 51% of the snaps, that I will drink the 4 ounces of apple cider vinegar, the standard bet on SNL. Surely we don't see a situation where Dare Ogunbowale is getting like 35% of the snaps. I mean, it sounds asinine, but Nick Caley is an asinine guy.
Nick.
And I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels' brother, which is basically the equivalent of Taylor Griffin, Tito Jackson, Ozzie Canseco. I don't know if his brother, like, has Ben McDaniels has like some sort of say in this type of stuff. I feel like his influence might be a little more than it should be. But surely we don't see Dare Ogunbowale getting like a large chunk of the snaps, right? I won't hold my breath. But I think ideally we would like to see what happens when Woody Marks gets the majority of the carries. And then people are just going to get even more pissed off. That's how incompetent Nick Caley has been at this point. And we'll talk to him tomorrow. We got some questions for Nick Caley. We got some stuff to figure out. But it's frustrating because when Christian Kirk was out, you saw what Jalen Knoll could do. It was nice. And then when Christian Kirk came back, Jalen Knoll was just pushed to the side. And we know why. I'll tell you in a sec. If Woody Marks goes out there and smashes, it's going to be nice. but it's also going to be frustrating because it's just another example of the people being smarter than the coaching staff. And I know DeMeco thinks that the coaches are the smartest guys in the world and they know more than everyone else and all that. And most football coaches feel that way. But in a perfect world, fans, media don't want to be smarter than their coaching staff. And I feel like, quite frankly, when it comes to personnel and it comes to common sense from the 1 yard line, QB sneak, it feels like that's the case with Nick Caley. And that's frustrating. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So what do they do with Nick Chubb out? I fear we might see a lot of Dare Ogunbowale, which is not great. I don't think anyone really wants to see that at all. Not even a little bit. Let's hear what DeMeco Ryans had to say about Davis Mills. Last time he was in this situation, DeMeco decided, you know what? I'm not going to go with Davis Mills. I'm going to go with the ghost of Case Keenum. And I'll be damned. The Texans won the game. What exactly does DeMeco like about Davis Mills now compared to them?
I've seen Davis grow and truly get better just playing the position, being able to take his time, going through his reads, going through it the proper way. I think I've seen growth in that where he's really protected the football more, made better decisions throughout training camp. I just like the progression that I saw from where we were our first year to where he is now.
All right, so there you go. So he thinks he's grown and he likes what he's seen. Now, Davis Mills, I'm sure a couple of years ago, it wasn't very fun for him to be the backup quarterback. And then all of a sudden, the last second, when you're supposed to go out there and do your thing, they decide to go with someone else. I just asked him if that helped motivate him and if he's motivated by that. And he was pretty honest about it.
Is that at all motivating, though? Like when they went with Case instead of you the last time they were in this situation?
Definitely. I think it leads you to obviously be introspective, kind of look at yourself and what else I could be doing to really gain these guys' trust and be as confident in my abilities as I am in myself. I think I've worked really hard to prove to those guys that I can go out there and be successful day in and day out. And I mean, I think I've shown that to my teammates as well. So it's going to be fun on Sunday.
All right. So, I mean, how would it not motivate you? I mean, that's gotta suck. And who knows if he's ready to go or not. We're going to get to see him on a full week of preparation, and we're going to see what he looks like. And it might be a little bit shorthanded. He's going against Trevor Lawrence, whose draft class he was in. Actually probably played better than Trevor Lawrence his rookie season. Not probably, he did. Trevor Lawrence was on the Urban Meyer train. Speaking of Trevor Lawrence, this is the second quarterback in a row to call DeMeco's defense basic. Bo Nix and Sean Payton said it last week. Trevor Lawrence said it this week. Again, they're not talking crap. There's just not much confusing about it, I guess, that we've come to learn about this Texans defense. Trevor Lawrence said it. Call it basic. He said, yeah, not much going on pretty much, but they do a lot well, and they're well coached. He did say they were well coached, but I don't think it really confuses quarterbacks. It's very personnel dependent, it feels like. So this is the second guy who said that. Bo Nix didn't do really anything last week. He completed a couple passes, but I mean, it wasn't like an overly impressive performance by Bo Nix. The Texans offense allowed him to kind of just lollygag for 3 quarters. And then suddenly he was able to flip the switch and make a couple of plays. So it's a basic defense. Dyson says even Miko says it's basic and simple. He did not. I've actually asked him about this. He does not think it's basic. He thinks there's a little bit more to it. He says football is basic and simple, but his defense, I think he takes a slight exception when you talk about this. I actually have asked him about this before. in other surroundings. So I don't think he thinks his defense is basic. I think he tries to make it simple, but I think he probably doesn't like that description of it, but it is what it is. I mean, this is the second straight week that we've heard that, and this is going to be the second time DeMeco Ryans has gone against Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen got the best of him the first time around. I like Liam Cohen. I don't know that the Jags' talent is that good. He's had some pretty bad moments, and he's had some good moments, and I think it's going to be fun having him in this division because he's a little bit loony too. I asked DeMeco, who gave a really good answer about Sean Payton last year, which is easy to do because he had a longer history with him. But I asked him what he sees from Liam Cohen, and this was what DeMeco said. I think it's a good – he goes to the quarterback and talks about how in command the quarterback is. But this is what DeMeco had to say about Cohen.
You've only faced him once as a head coach. Do you notice anything about maybe an identity of Liam Cohen's as a play caller and his football team?
Oh, look, Liam has done a great job of how they call it and having multiple plays at the line of scrimmage, trying to get into the proper look. You'll see a lot of alerts where, whether it's one high, two high, they have their alert package there, and they've done a good job. I think Trevor's done a really good job at the line of scrimmage, really communicating, getting the offense in the best play possible. So they're you can see, Liam's imprint on the offense. You can see how he's helped Trevor, and you can see how they're moving the football, scoring points.
By the way, if you ever have sinuses, boom, boom. This isn't even an advertisement. Boom, boom. Clear the sinuses up like crazy. It's almost like smelling salts in football. The Liam Cohen thing's interesting. You don't want to start out 0-2 against a guy, right? I mean, that happened to Steichen. I think Steichen's probably the best coach in the AFC South right now. I don't think too many people would dispute that, but you don't want to start out 0-2 against someone in the division. You don't want that. DeMeco doesn't want that. He's competitive. He knows that he can't really do that, but he does have some respect for him. He's also capping. I don't mind the lies with a purpose. I think DeMeco's kind of distancing himself from the weirdness that was. But he said a couple of things today where I'm like, these are harmless caps. First, he says he likes the kicker replacing Fairbairn.
Yeah, Kaimi is dealing with a quad injury right now. We'll see how he progresses. Right now we have Matt. Matt's been in the league. He's kicked a ton of games, very good kicker. So we're excited to be able to get a guy of his caliber here, knowing that Emi will be down.
Yeah, I don't know about his caliber. Excited about I don't know. Might be wanting to talk yourself into that. The other thing he said, which the Jags have openly addressed, and players in the Texans locker room have actually admitted this as well, and we've actually seen it play out. These teams don't like each other. DeMeco says there's no bad blood, though.
I don't feel any animosity unless I'm missing something. But we're going out to play our game. We're going to play a tough physical game. That's who we are. We don't change it just because of who we play. It doesn't ramp up because of the opponent. Like, we have a style of play here in Houston, how we play, and that's what we'll do every time we step on the grass. It doesn't matter where we play.
All right, there you go. Every time we step on the grass, it doesn't matter who we play. Okay, don't know that I believe that, but you know what? I don't step on grass in my backyard. I step on turf. Texans turf. Dan the man is my guy. I wanted that turf. I got that turf. It was a stressful process. A lot of slimy turf companies out there. That you just can't trust. But I trusted Dan the man. I was very discouraged. He came through. He didn't try to upsell me. He didn't try to minimize. He didn't act like he was above my backyard. He's done some of the biggest ballers in town, I can tell you. And he did my house, and he put as much into this as he did anyone else. Full soccer fields, putting greens, play areas, or just a small backyard like mine. He's got you covered. He's going to customize it with the drainage, and he is going to be the best in the game. Go to TexansTurf.com. Look at everything they got going on. I shopped for you so you don't have to. Shopping for turf. I talked to someone the other day. He was really stressed out, and he basically just said, I've just kind of settled with my turf guy. It was just such a pain. I'm like, dude, let me give you a guy. He looked real annoyed because he was like, man, this, I'm like, dude, trust me. This is the guy I shopped around. I was a customer before I even developed a partnership with him. Texans turf. He called him. He got the job. And he's thanked me at least 6 times since then. So go to Texans turf if you want to get that backyard straight. And they got you covered. Texans turf. And the man, let him do for you what he did for me. Let's hear from this new kicker. Someone said, we talked about this on SNL. Someone said that this guy looks like he's 20 and 40 at the same time. His name is Matthew Wright. He's been on a lot of teams. He's like a Little Caesars pizza. I guess he just stays hot and ready for whenever a kicker gets hurt. Fairbairn got hurt, and now I guess this guy's ready. Here's what he had to say in preparation of having some big shoes to fill on Sunday in a very high-pressure game.
So you've been on a lot of teams. How do you stay ready for the potential situation you're going to be in on Sunday?
Just like when I'm kicking on my own, just try to make it as stressful as possible, I guess, on myself. Because, got to be ready whenever, show up, make my kicks, different settings. So, yeah.
What's this week been like for you? Can you talk us through kind of these past few days and this opportunity?
Just flew in, met everyone, get out to practice, get comfortable, and just get ready for the game if I'm needed.
How does this happen? Do you just constantly stay ready? You constantly, if somebody's watching for opportunities and you're just ready to go at a moment's notice?
Yeah. I try to treat like each week as if I'm going to play no matter what I'm doing, if I'm at home on my couch or if I'm here. So, just trying to stay mentally ready, stay kicking. Always be ready.
Do you have a preference or a certain approach with the way that the kickoff rules operate and how you like to do things?
Whatever the coach tells me to do. Yeah.
Do you have that kind of that knuckleball kick in your bag that we've seen some of the kickers use this year?
Just try my best to do what the coach asked me to do, and then hopefully it all works out.
Matt, you kicked in the league for a long time. What does that do for your confidence, the experience you have? Have you been in this situation before to have to step in for a kicker on a short-term basis?
Yeah. So obviously the first couple times it's real nerve-wracking. You don't know exactly what to expect, and then you've been doing it a while. It's just you realize it's kind of the same thing. Just stay focused on my job. My job's just to kick the ball. There's a pro snapper, pro holder. Just focus on what I can do.
What is the process to kind of get acclimated to those two components that are key, the snap and hold, as you kind of go through the week here?
Yeah, the only thing is just the timing and then getting the lean on the ball. But, I mean, like I said, they're both pros, so it's usually pretty seamless.
What would you say your range is?
Whatever they ask me to do.
What are you comfortable with?
Whatever they ask me to do.
Matt, as this guy right here noted, you won a game for Jacksonville in the same situation. Is that kind of boost the confidence having done this before?
All I focus on is kicking the ball, really. So it doesn't really matter who I'm playing, I guess. Just focusing on snap, hold, kick, making my kicks.
All right, there you go. He's focused. He's focused on kicking the ball. I don't know, man. I don't know. Fairbairn's been a big part of this thing. I feel like 50-yard field goals might be something that we all take for granted, and those are some big shoes to fill, and this is a big game. You can there's a lot of pressure that is going to be riding on this, and it's going to be a very hectic situation to really know that it's not a gimme anymore. Like, there's no more settling for field goals. Like, settling for field goals, you make it sound like it's just like the worst thing in the world. I mean, now it's going to be a stressful process to even settle for field goals. And you factor in that you got a backup quarterback. There's a lot going on with the Texans, and the Texans are extremely banged up. I don't feel sorry for them because 2 of their 3 wins have been against teams in similar situations. And this is the one thing that me and DeMeco Ryans definitely agree on.
We have a few guys who, unfortunately had some injuries throughout the game. Again, it happens as the season goes along. It happens. But great opportunity for a lot of guys to step up and showcase what they can do.
All right, there you go. So it's not something, it kind of evens out. Like, if the Texans are able to gut this out, the 5-5 that we talked about is still alive. I have no problem with that. So I think that this is going to be a fun game to observe. It's not going to be the prettiest, but it's a battle. And the last time we watched Tennessee versus the Texans, it's not as late in the season, so you're not really battling for a division. I don't even think they can think about the division. But what you're trying to do and what we set out after they went 0-3, what we laid out on this show was 5-5. We said before they can do anything, they got to get to 5-5 after week 11. That was it. So if you follow along this show, you follow along SNL, you follow along the Texans Collective, 5-5 was the thing. You lose this game, that doesn't happen. You lose this game, you're 4 games behind Jacksonville when you factor in the tiebreaker, you're done. We're not done. It's not optional for us to cover the team. We're going to cover the team, and we're going to give you the best coverage we can give you. But they're not making the playoffs if they lose this game. The odds are still way against them to make the playoffs. This isn't some made-up type of thing. This is something that we talked about for a long time. So they're going to have to gut this out. It's not like you're facing the Ravens. Like, could you imagine if you were facing the Ravens now instead of when you did? With Lamar Jackson back and everything, it'd be a wrap. You're done. Texans have been very fortunate to be very healthy up to this point. One of the most healthy teams in the league. Inevitably, that's not going to last. And now they're going to have to figure out a way to gut out a game. This happens. They did not take advantage of the opportunities that they had to where maybe they had some leeway and some wiggle room to be able to take an L when they're banged up. They lost that opportunity. They pissed it away. You heard DeMeco Ryans say, yeah, we probably should have won some games. Yeah, if you would have won 1 or 2 of those games, then your season would not rest on the arm of Davis Mills and on the leg of some kicker who stays hot and ready like a Little Caesars pizza, who looks like he's 12 years old and 40 at the same time. They've made this bed. They've got to lie in it, and they're either going to get out of it or it's going to be a tough situation for them, and then they're just going to have to do this fake, we're not going to quit shit that we always say. They didn't give up on the coach. Okay. You're not going to the playoffs. I would like to cover a team that has like a puncher's chance, even if it's a have to get a knockout in the 12th round chance of making the playoffs. It's not impossible. It's the Jags. It's the Jags. They're not great. You've already played them before. Your defense is still pretty much intact. You don't have Jalen Petrie right now. He's in concussion protocol. I think Willie Anderson tries to play. If he doesn't, you still have Daniil Hunter, and you have a lot invested. I also wonder, when it comes to the Jalen Petrie thing, I do wonder if him being out could kind of confuse the Jags. And this is my point here. The Texans don't even play the same defense when Jalen Petrie doesn't play. So when the Jags are watching the tape, they're going to be watching a guy who plays 90% of the snaps, at least, or around that area in Jalen Petrie, if they're watching the Texans tape. Because when he's not in the lineup, they're not playing that defense. We watch practice, myself and Cody. They're not even practicing with a nickelback. There's no nickelback section. Like Jalen Petrie has his own practice section. So they're going to play defense completely different without Jalen Petrie. They also just put Jalen Smith on IR. This is his second IR stint as a rookie. And he was bouncing Kamari Lassiter inside. That's not happening either. I'm sure the Jags coaches are smart and they have some sort of idea. But quite frankly, you're preparing for a defense that's not going to exist if Jalen Petrie isn't out there. They're not going to put Miles Bryant there and have him do what they asked Jalen Petrie to do. They're not going to have Jalen Reed go do what Petrie does. They're going to play defense completely different. Christian Harris is out. That penny stock that I bought, it was a waste of money. He's either not the player he once was or 2 years ago was a total fluke, but he's not out there. But we could see more 3 linebacker sets. We could be seeing more EJ Speed, Henry To'oTo'o, Azeez Al-Shire. I don't know how they're going to handle it. But it's not going to be the same defense that the Jags are looking at, assuming that they're looking at this year's tape, which why the hell would you not? So unless you follow this team very closely, you probably assume well, this is how they play defense. They don't. If Jalen Petry's out, it's a completely different defense. And quite frankly, there's not as much proof of that as there usually is. Now, I'm not sitting here saying they're a better defense. I'm just saying it's much different. So we will see what that looks like if there's any confusion, but it does got to be an interesting element when it comes to studying what the Texans will or will not do. Now, we don't know. We didn't even know Petry was in concussion protocol until the injury report came out. We had no idea. So that question wasn't even asked. He didn't quite dismiss Titus Howard. Jalen Petry, we have no idea because Alpha Aaron didn't even know that he had a concussion.
Hey, bro. Alpha Aaron here.
So I'm sure Alpha Aaron will ask him on Friday or maybe ask Matt Burke tomorrow. But that's just kind of where they're at when it comes to that. It is a locker room. Texans are banged up, and people have stuff to say.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Jeremiah Chavez says, write it down and hold me accountable. I will. Jeremiah Chavez, going third person, is now rooting for losses. Clean house. The Knicks. I bought my ticket for the Mike McDaniel hype train. Nick. I wonder if Mike McDaniel is going to want to work immediately. Not if, when he gets fired from Miami. I wonder if he's going to want to. It'll also be funny that DeMeco goes back. It's obvious that Nick Caserio made the decision for Nick Caley and they went to the Patriot system. It was a compromise. We've been through this. We don't have to go through this 100 times. I mean, if they go back to the San Francisco, what does Nick Caserio do? Go put his tail between his legs? You look like an idiot. It was a wasted year. You look like an idiot already for the moves that you made. I mean, this was just an ass offseason, regardless. But if they go back to the system that they were running before, I mean, come on, dude. Give back that free 2-year extension that Cal and Hannah gave you for no reason under the radar that wasn't really reported. Keith says Dare should switch sides and back up Petry. I wouldn't put it past him. They'll let Dare do anything. Hell, if Nick gets fired, they might make Dare Gumbawale the GM. They let him do everything else. I mean, that might be less outlandish than letting him play 40% of the running back snaps, which I fear they're going to do on Sunday. So that could very well happen. It's hard out here for someone who wants to see solid running back play. It's hard out here for that. But they're beat to hell. They're beat to hell. Book your bet right now. Over under 51% of the snaps for Marks. Am I going to be drinking that apple cider vinegar or not? Surely he's going to get over half the snaps, right? If Nick Chubb doesn't play, surely Woody Marks is getting 51% of the snaps, right? Surely. Naturally, you say, well, you know, Chubb's out, so it goes up. Man, does that just mean they give Dare Gumbawale a larger chunk of pie? Surely Woody Marks is getting at least over half, right? We've been wanting that with Chubb in. I can't predict this team, though. Especially personnel with Nick Caley. And I don't know who the hell's in his ear. But surely over 51% of the snaps for Marks, right? I don't think the people believe in that. I don't think the people believe like that. Everyone's saying under. Nothing makes Texans fans more defeated, I've noticed, than Dare Gumbawale at running back. It is a depressing sight for Texans fans. I've noticed this. Very depressing sight. Let's hear from excited Davis Mills. Do you want to get excited? Do you want to hear what Davis Mills sounds like when he's excited? This is Davis Mills expressing his excitement. He's pumped. Here's Davis Mills expressing how excited he is to get out there in a must-win game for CJ Stroud?
It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, got drafted here with Nico back in 21. Have thrown a lot of footballs to him over my time. And then this offseason, when the rookies were new to the team, I got a lot of reps with them in the spring and during camp and built a lot of trust with those guys. So it's going to be good to continue working with them and spread the ball around.
All right. Pumped? You got you fired up? Let's give him another chance. Let's hear some more excited Davis Mills.
Obviously, I'm ready. That's kind of how I prepare week in, week out. I've always had the mindset that, you could play at any given snap. Unfortunately, what happened to CJ in the game, I got thrown in there, but, that's what I get paid to do. Always be prepared, and it's nice having a full week of practice going into this game to attack this defense and go out there and lead the guys.
Can the Texans win a game with Davis Mills? I think so. Are they going to win this game? I don't know. But I think so. It's not like CJ Stroud's played great this year. Now, there is definitely a drop-off. We all agree with that. But the offense looks similar. Like the same problems exist with Mills that they do with Stroud. We haven't seen Mills get to prepare for a whole week. So let's judge him with that. Let's see how he handles it. But the biggest fear is that they try to run the ball too much. That's the biggest fear. You can win a game with Davis Mills. You can. It's much different, I will say. It's much different to be on the sidelines, chilling, and then all of a sudden get thrown to the Denver Broncos defense. One of the better defenses in the league. Lead the league in sacks by 10. I think we said that 1,000 times last week. And then you're going against the Jags. Good defense. Not awful. But you got a whole week to get ready for that. Coaching staff gets to kind of adjust to perhaps what you do when it comes to the game planning. So it's definitely different. Did he look great against the Broncos last week? No. But it was kind of similar to what we've seen, which is not good. But I think you can win a game with Mills. Crazier things have happened than winning a game with Mills. Now, it sucks that you have a crappy offensive coordinator. That sucks. That kind of screws it up. But you have a really good defense. I still like the receivers, even though Nick Caley doesn't know how to use them, and he prefers vets. Or it could be Ben McDaniels. I don't know. Or Nick Caserio. Or DeMeco. I don't know. I still like these receivers. Maybe Davis Mills just does what a lot of people have been wanting all season long. Maybe Davis Mills just forces it to Nico. Maybe this is what happens. He just says, you know what? We came in together. We've played together. I'm just going to force it to Nico Collins. It's Nico no matter what. Maybe Nico Collins gets like 25 targets. I'm laughing, but it wouldn't be the worst thing. Maybe Davis just says F and I'm throwing it to Nico. Don't know. Maybe like desperation brings out the best in Nick Caley. I'm not betting on that. I'm done giving Nick Caley any benefit of the doubt in any situation. But maybe that happens. Maybe DeMeco just makes Trevor Lawrence look terrible. Now we're talking. Now we're working our way into something that you can maybe get down with. Maybe DeMeco and the defense just make Trevor Lawrence look awful. Maybe Brian Thomas doesn't play. Travis Hunter's out. They can stop the run. Maybe they just make Trevor Lawrence look terrible to where they don't really have to do a lot. Still got to make those field goals, though. That's the one concern is you still got to make those field goals. It's a little bit scary. A little bit scary given the fact that you're not going to have Fairbairn and you got someone who's just been on the streets. Maybe they let Jalen Noel actually play. I got to the bottom of this. I solved the mystery. I knew it was one of two things. as to why Jalen Noel wasn't playing. I knew it was either playbook or blocking. DeMeco and Kaylee can sit there and say, oh, he's doing fine. Obviously, I'll have some sort of problem with him because someone who makes plays like that, someone who has that type of explosiveness, there's definitely a reason he's not playing. And in the world of blowhard coaches, specifically ones from that place up Northeast, it's either blocking or it's playbook. So I asked Jalen Noel. He was asked about his ops. And I just asked him, like, you personally, what do you think you need to do to get on the field more? We solved the mystery.
Is there anything specific that you think that maybe in order to get more consistent ops that you personally need to work on?
There's always something that I feel like anybody can work on. For myself, I'm always pushing myself on just my hand combat in the second level, and then continuing to work on my physicality in the run game. I feel like as a receiver, you always have to pride yourself in being curious and what you can do to get better, and that's just my whole goal is just to continue to get better each day.
All right, so there we go. Blocking. That's what it is. They're keeping this guy off the field because of blocking. Mystery solved. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse. I would probably figure out ways to not make him block. Dargan Wale has struggled mightily with pass blocking, and he seems to find his way on the field more and more. It's a pick and choose type thing, but it's clearly blocking. I don't know why they can't just say that. That's clearly what it is, and for some reason they won't just admit it. He's a mature guy. Matt Campbell would have done it at Iowa State. For some reason they just can't do it. But it's clearly blocking. So we figured it out. Bada bing, bada boom, mystery solved. Apparently they don't think Jalen Noel blocks very well. Okay. There we go. So that solves that. There that is. Blocking. Boom. I just don't. With the lack of explosiveness here, I would find a way to coach around it. Make do with what you got, maximize the skill set that he's got, but that's what it is. It's that BS. We solved the mystery. So there you go. I guess Christian Kirk's just such a good blocker.
Captain Kirk, can you save me? Captain Kirk, I want to have your baby.
It's just hilarious with the way this squad is. DeMeco was also asked a weird question by Will Kunkel. I don't know what was going on here. This was funny. This was old Kunk asking DeMeco. Watch this reaction from DeMeco.
For another repeater, will Nick call plays this weekend?
Why would he not call plays?
For another repeater, will Nick call plays this weekend?
Why would he not call plays?
That was interesting. DeMeco thought it was funny as well. DeMeco also dropped kind of another bomb on the people. A lot of people upset that the Texans did not make a trade at the deadline. Apparently they tried, and DeMeco Ryans made that clear that it wasn't for a lack of trying. Here was DeMeco talking about the failed attempt to make a trade, or attempts. Who knows?
When it comes to the trade deadline, it's because a transaction did not happen. It's not from a lack of effort. Of course, we tried to do several things, it just didn't pan out.
All right. So they tried to do several things. I wonder what those things were. I don't think we'll figure out. Maybe Diana Rossini will have like a report like a month from now about what they did or didn't try to do. But he said that they tried. So if you wanted the Texans to try to make a move, apparently they did. They just had a price that I guess they didn't budge, or it didn't work out. It takes two to tango. So Maybe it was offensive line, maybe it was a tight end, maybe it was a running back, who knows? But DeMeco said they tried. DeMeco's pretty transparent now. Pretty transparent with a lot of things. I enjoy it. I think it's great. It's great for the fans, great for the peeps. Good information. And no one wants to live paranoid. Like the Patriot way is not fun. Unless you're Tom Brady or unless they're actually winning. That stuff's not fun. Nobody enjoys that. Nobody's having fun with a Patriot way. DeMeco adopted it for a little bit, kind of let Caserio do his thing after Bobby didn't work. He's coming back around. I still have faith in DeMeco that he's going to be a better version of himself than this year. Hasn't been a good year for him. But I think he's coming around a little bit. I can't be too mad at him for the offensive coordinator eye roll. That was a little bit funny. There's a lot of John Carroll jokes in the chat. It is kind of wild how popular John Carroll is. You know, Don Shula went there. Been some good football coaches who've gone there. So tomorrow, we're going to hear from the coordinators. We'll hear from Frank Ross. We'll hear from Nick Caley. We'll hear from Matt Burke. I don't think I really have a lot of questions for Matt Burke. I always look at the defense. Like if there's a question about defense, ask DeMeco. I know that Burke has kind of been calling the defense a little bit here and there. I don't know that that's a permanent thing now. But typically the defensive questions go to DeMeco. The special teams is interesting. I do want to know why Jalen Knoll doesn't return kicks. I feel like I'm becoming like a Jalen Knoll, like head of some sort of fan club or something like that. But it just feels like if you're not going to play him on offense, I mean, my God, it seems like he's flipped the game a couple times at punt return. Like how is he not at the very least returning kicks? Like Braxton Berrios, like what are we doing here? This isn't 2021. Like the Braxton Berrios thing is just unnecessary at this point. And they got him returning kicks. That's crazy. It's one thing to say the guy can't block, but what is stopping Jalen Knoll from returning kicks and punts, especially with what this offense is? Like, do you expect Braxton Berrios to break them boys off and change the game with a kick return? I would say probably not. I don't think too many people are expecting that. But I mean, they got him back there at kick return. Like, put Jalen Knoll back there. I mean, if he just returns it to midfield, that gives you an opportunity. But for some reason, they like Braxton Berrios. They liked him on offense more than Jalen Knoll. Maybe he blocks better. But kick return? Really? With how fast and explosive Jalen Knoll is, you got Braxton Berrios back there at kick return? That's crazy. I actually understand offense more than I do kick return. That just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I just want to know whose call is this? Like, what goes into this decision to put Braxton Berrios back there at kick return? I know it's not Frank Ross's choice. I'm pretty sure on that. But whose choice is it? Whose choice is this? because it's weird. I don't understand it. We'll also hear from Nick Caley. There's a lot to ask him. He's rough. He's rough. But this is a must win. Make no mistake about it. Must win game for the Texans. They've got to handle their business. They've got to find a way to gut one out. You've gotten some breaks early in the season. You've been healthy, and you face some teams in this situation. Now you know what it feels like. And maybe this makes DeMeco lean on the defense a little bit more. I don't think that's a recipe for success that you're going to be able to do all the time. But maybe they lean more on the defense. I think against Jacksonville, you perhaps can. I don't know how many points it's going to take to beat Jacksonville, but if this defense plays the way they can, they might make the opportunity. Field goal is going to be a little bit tougher, though. So there's plenty to keep an eye on. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Tomorrow is Nick Caley Day. Subscribe, like, ride along. Shout out to Sleeper. Get in the game, higher, lower, if you so choose. The best in the game. You will not regret it. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck.